You were not created to wander through life distracted, discouraged, and defeated. You were created to dominate not people, but problems. Not circumstances, but challenges. And the first battleground is not out there, it's in your mind. Your mind is the gatekeeper to every experience you will ever have in life. Before you can lay hold of the life you envision, before you can build the business, restore the relationship, or walk in your God-given purpose, you must first confront the arena where the real fight begins, your own mind. Every external breakthrough is preceded by an internal shift. The mindset you carry determines the outcomes you create, and no amount of talent or ambition can override a mind filled with doubt, fear, and limitation. When you wake up in the morning, the battle begins. Not with other people, not with your bank account, not with your circumstances, but with the first thoughts that enter your head. Thoughts of, I'm not enough. It's too late. I always mess it up. Those are not innocent reflections. Those are the opening blows of war. And if you don't stop them at the gate, they will set the tone for your entire day. That's how powerful the mind is. If you don't conquer it, it will conquer you without mercy. Your beliefs become the blueprint for your decisions. If your mind is programmed to expect failure, you will self-sabotage your success even when the opportunity is right in front of you. If your thoughts are shaped by fear, you will hesitate when you should act. If they are shaped by scarcity, you will cling when you should invest. It's not a money problem, a time problem, or a people problem. It's a mind problem. The way you think determines the way you move. The danger lies in how subtle this battle can be. Most people don't even realize they're in a fight. They think their life is hard because of the economy, their past, or the people around them. But the truth is, it's not the giants on the outside holding them back. It's the whispers inside their head. The fear of failure, the need for approval, the lies they've rehearsed for years. That is the real enemy. And until you face it, nothing outside of you will change. When you begin to master your thoughts, you unlock a new level of power, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. Suddenly, the same situations that used to stress you out don't shake you. The same people who once distracted you can't derail you. You stop reacting and you start responding with clarity, with confidence, with conviction. That's what happens when you take back control of your mental territory. This is why most people stay stuck. They're trying to change everything around them without first changing what's within them. They're rearranging the furniture in a burning house, trying to feel better instead of confronting the root issue. But the root issue is always in the mind. Your life will rise or fall to the level of your thinking. Not because positive thinking is magic, but because your decisions flow from your thoughts. And your life is the sum total of your decisions. When you guard your mind, you protect your future. Every thought you allow in is either building your destiny or breaking it down. And the most dangerous thoughts aren't the loud ones filled with fear. They're the quiet ones that sound reasonable but are rooted in limitation. Maybe this is just how life is. I guess some people just don't make it. I should just be grateful for what I have. These don't sound evil, but they're the language of surrender. And surrendering in your mind is surrendering in your life. The battlefield of the mind is not a one-time war. It's a daily, moment-by-moment engagement. You don't win it once and walk away. You win it every morning when you choose belief over doubt, vision over distraction, discipline over delay. The greatest victories are invisible, no applause, no spotlight, just you and your thoughts and the quiet decision to keep standing. Distraction is not loud. It doesn't crash through the doors of your purpose wearing a warning sign. It's quiet. It sneaks in dressed as something small, something harmless, another notification, another scroll, another conversation that goes nowhere. It doesn't feel dangerous in the moment. That's what makes it so deadly, because while you're busy reacting to the urgent, your destiny is sitting in the corner waiting for you to return to what matters. The tragedy is that most people will never fully realize what they've lost to distraction until it's too late. Time, energy, relationships, creative ideas, slowly siphoned off by meaningless things that kept them busy but never made them better. You see, distraction doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes it looks like productivity in the wrong direction. You're working, yes, but not on the thing that matters. You're moving, but you're not progressing. That's the deception of it. It offers the illusion of movement while robbing you of momentum. Dreams don't die overnight. They fade in stages. They die every time you choose comfort over commitment. Every time you say, I'll do it later. Every time you open your phone when you should be focused. Every time you trade intentionality for impulse. 1 moment here, 1 minute there. Death by 1,000 tiny distractions. And the worst part, you don't feel it until the vision has already grown cold and the window has already closed. Distraction is a thief that doesn't need your permission, it just needs your attention. And attention is the most expensive currency you have. Where your attention goes, your life follows. That's why companies spend billions trying to get it. That's why social media is engineered to hijack it. Because attention is the gateway to your habits, and your habits shape your outcomes. The enemy doesn't need to destroy your dream. He just needs to get you focused on everything except the dream. What makes distraction even more dangerous is that it often disguises itself as responsibility. It shows up in the form of tasks, errands, other people's priorities. It convinces you that you're being helpful, that you're being needed, that you're being useful. And all the while your purpose sits on pause. You're busy but not building, present but not producing, distracted but calling it duty. That is the silent erosion of calling. Every high achiever, every person who has ever done something meaningful has had to declare war on distraction. They've had to build systems to protect their focus. They've had to say no to things that looked good so they could say yes to what was great. Because distraction doesn't just ask for your time, it asks for your identity. It wants you to forget who you are, why you started, and what's really at stake. People underestimate the price of distraction because they're only measuring what they see. But what about the book that was never written, the business never launched, the idea that never took shape because it was drowned in noise? There is a graveyard of unlived potential buried beneath people's browsing history and meaningless conversations. That's not an exaggeration, that's reality. And it happens not because people didn't care, but because they didn't protect their attention. You can't steward what you don't focus on. You can't grow what you keep walking away from. Distraction doesn't just delay dreams, it often destroys them. Not with a bang, but with a whisper. Not with a crisis, but with convenience. It keeps you occupied with what's urgent, so you'll never invest in what's important. And all the while, time keeps ticking, purpose keeps waiting, and your dream keeps asking, when will you finally choose me? Most people operate under the illusion that time is their greatest limitation. They look at their schedule and see it packed with obligations, commitments, and responsibilities. They think, if only I had more time, I could finally do this or that. The truth, however, is that it's not time holding you back. It's the lack of clarity about what really matters. When you're clear about your purpose, clear about your goals, and clear about your next steps, you'll find that time is no longer an issue. Clarity organizes time for you, making every moment purposeful. Time is an equal opportunity resource. We all get the same 24 hours in a day, and we all face the same 1,440 minutes. The difference between those who make progress and those who don't isn't how much time they have, it's how effectively they use the time they have. The person with clarity knows where to place their focus, what to say yes to, and what to reject. The person without clarity spends their time running in circles, doing everything but the one thing that will move the needle forward. Time doesn't change, but your perspective on it does when you have clarity. Without clarity, everything becomes a blur. You're reacting to life instead of strategically responding to it. You allow distractions, noise, and irrelevant opportunities to pull you in different directions. You jump from one task to the next, hoping something will stick, but you never make meaningful progress. Every day feels like you're spinning your wheels and you end the day exhausted but with no real accomplishment. This isn't a time problem, it's a clarity problem. When you're clear about your vision, Even a few focused hours can lead to tremendous breakthroughs. Clarity gives you a map. Without it, you're lost. You might know you want success, but how will you get there? How will you navigate the obstacles? Without a clear sense of your destination, every opportunity looks like a detour. Every challenge feels like an insurmountable mountain. You'll feel overwhelmed and scattered, but with clarity, you know exactly where you're going and why you're going there. You recognize opportunities as stepping stones and challenges as growth points, not threats. You gain confidence because you understand the journey ahead. One of the most dangerous things you can do is fill your life with activity and call it progress. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're moving forward. Clarity allows you to differentiate between being busy and being productive. Busy work can feel satisfying because it's constant movement, but productivity comes from doing the right work. It's about putting your time and energy into what aligns with your goals. When you're clear on your priorities, you stop wasting energy on things that don't contribute to your ultimate mission. People who are unclear about what they want tend to jump from one thing to another, hoping something will eventually work. They spread themselves thin and scatter their energy in multiple directions, never committing fully to anything. In contrast, those who have clarity commit to their chosen path with intensity and focus. They understand that progress is not about doing more, but about doing less and doing it with precision. When you know where you're going, you don't waste time wondering which way to turn. You simply take the next step with confidence. Clarity also removes the noise. It quiets the mind, which is often filled with fear, doubt, and opinions from others. When you're unclear about your goals, every piece of advice, every new opportunity, and every piece of feedback feels like it might be the answer. You become overwhelmed by choices and paralyzed by indecision. But when you have clarity, you can filter out the noise. You can stand firm in your decision because you know exactly what your goals are. And you know that every decision you make needs to align with those goals. More time doesn't solve the problem. The problem isn't how much time you have. It's whether you're using it on the right things. Without clarity, you could have 10 years and still not achieve what you want. But with clarity, even a fraction of the time becomes incredibly powerful. Your time becomes more productive because you're directing it with intention and focus. Clarity turns time into your most powerful asset because it ensures that every moment spent is in service of your vision. Your mind is a tool. A powerful tool, yes, but a tool nonetheless. The problem is that too many people let their minds dictate their lives as though they are the master and not the servant. They live by whatever thoughts, feelings, and emotions rise up in them, never questioning the authority they give to those mental impulses. They are ruled by their fears, anxieties, doubts, and insecurities, believing these fleeting emotions define them. The truth is, your mind was never meant to be your master. You were meant to command it, control it, and direct it toward the life you want to create. Every thought that enters your mind doesn't deserve your attention. Not every thought is true, and certainly not every thought is worth acting on. Yet so many people live reactively, allowing their thoughts to drive their decisions. They let negative self-talk become their narrative, even when it's far from accurate. When fear enters the mind, it often feels like the truth, but it's not. When doubt whispers, it's easy to believe it, but it's not a command you must follow. You must realize that these are simply thoughts. And thoughts are not facts unless you allow them to become your truth. The mind's true purpose is to serve you, not rule you. When you learn to master your mind, you unlock the ability to create the life you desire. Instead of being a passive observer to the endless stream of thoughts that float through your consciousness, you become an active participant. You begin to recognize when thoughts are beneficial and when they are destructive. You start to see which thoughts propel you forward and which ones keep you stuck. You can choose to dismiss the unhelpful ones and replace them with empowering thoughts that align with your goals and vision. The mind often tricks people into believing it is in control, when in fact you are in control of your mind. The challenge is that most people have not been taught how to train their minds. They haven't learned how to discipline their thinking, and they haven't been shown how to set boundaries on their mental landscape. They allow their emotions to dictate their actions, their fears to define their limits, and their past mistakes to control their future. But the power is always in your hands to choose a new thought, a new belief, and a new direction. One of the most profound shifts you can make in life is to stop letting your thoughts just happen. Too many people let their minds wander aimlessly, reacting to whatever comes their way without intentionality. This is the perfect breeding ground for negative limiting beliefs. But when you take charge of your thoughts, you begin to think with purpose. You start to train your mind to think in ways that support your growth, your success, and your well-being. Instead of letting your mind pull you in every direction, you guide it where you want to go. Your mind is incredibly powerful, but it's a servant that works best when it is directed with intention. It is your responsibility to decide what you want to focus on and why. When you choose what you allow to occupy your thoughts, you put yourself in a position to harness your mind's potential for greatness. The mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of positivity, self-belief, and confidence, it will produce a harvest of success, resilience, and joy. But if you allow weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity to take root, it will produce fruit that keeps you stagnant and stuck. Many people don't realize how much power they truly have over their minds. They assume that the thoughts they experience are out of their control, but in reality, they have the ability to shape those thoughts. Just because a thought comes up doesn't mean it has to define you. Just because a fear enters your mind doesn't mean you need to act on it. The moment you realize that you can control what you think about, how you think about it, and how long you allow it to occupy your mind, you unlock a whole new level of power. You are the captain of your mental ship. When you steer your mind in the direction you choose, you set yourself up for success. You can decide which thoughts to cultivate and which ones to discard. You can create a mental environment that is fertile for growth and success. The key is learning to recognize that your mind is a servant. And the more you train it to serve your highest good, the more it will help you reach your goals. The battle is not out there in the world, it's in your mind, and the victory starts when you take control. Every day we are bombarded by a constant stream of information, opinions, and distractions. Whether it's the noise from social media, the never-ending notifications on our phones, or the chatter from people around us, it's easy to get lost in a sea of irrelevant noise. This noise has a sneaky way of pulling us away from our true purpose. It diverts our attention from our goals and drains our energy, leaving us feeling mentally scattered and overwhelmed. The reality is, if you want to truly activate your vision and bring your dreams to life, you need to eliminate the noise that keeps you from focusing on what matters most. The noise in your life is more than just external distractions. It can also be the internal chatter that fills your mind. These are the doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs that prevent you from seeing the possibilities before you. They make you question your ability to succeed, cloud your judgment, and convince you that the road ahead is too difficult. This internal noise can be even more powerful than external distractions because it often goes unchecked. If you don't address it, it will slowly eat away at your confidence and your clarity, making it almost impossible to move forward with conviction. When you are constantly distracted, it becomes difficult to stay connected to your vision. Vision requires focus. Vision requires you to tune out the noise around you and within you, to quiet the distractions, and listen to what your heart and mind are telling you about the future you are creating. Vision is not something that can thrive in chaos. It requires space to breathe, space to grow, and space to evolve. When you eliminate the noise, you create that space, and your vision will become clearer, more vivid, and more powerful. The first step in eliminating the noise is to be intentional about what you allow to occupy your mind. You must be selective with the thoughts you entertain, the people you listen to, and the information you consume. Every piece of input you allow into your life has the potential to either uplift you or distract you. You need to ask yourself, is this contributing to my vision, or is it pulling me away from it? When you start making conscious decisions about what you engage with, you will begin to see a shift in your focus and your energy. You'll feel more centered and more aligned with your goals. Limiting the noise is also about setting boundaries with people, situations, and even yourself. You must protect your time and energy from being drained by things that do not serve your vision. This might mean saying no to social events that do not align with your goals, turning off notifications that disrupt your flow, or even stepping away from relationships that are negative or draining. It's not about being rude or selfish. It's about creating an environment that supports your growth and success. Your energy is valuable, and you must guard it if you want to protect your vision. Sometimes the noise doesn't just come from others, it can come from within. It's easy to get caught up in your own thoughts, second-guessing yourself or worrying about what might go wrong. This internal noise can be paralyzing, preventing you from taking the necessary actions to move forward. The key to overcoming this internal noise is to build self-awareness and practice self-compassion. Recognize when negative or unproductive thoughts are creeping in and take action to shift your mindset. Remind yourself of your purpose, your strengths, and the progress you've made. Replace fear and doubt with faith and confidence. As you begin to eliminate the noise,